morning and welcome to the fourth hour. It's always great to have you along. I was talking on the air this morning. I shared what I thought was a really inspiring piece of good news involving Jay Leno. And I wanted to show you a little bit of the video. He was on News Nation and he's feeding the first responders in Los Angeles. And let's just share a portion of this. This is Leno speaking.
Oh, it's great. I was down there and I said, everybody's got boxed lunches, which are nice, but I thought, well, so we were out and we bought about $21,000 worth of ribs and chicken and everything. Let's start cooking it up for the guys and give them a hot meal.
And here he is on the right side.
They went through the whole thing. And we need more food. So we got more food today. We got more food tomorrow, more food Thursday. But, it is a brilliant military operation. I was at Bagram Air Force Base. We're doing USO shows and things over there. This is exactly like that. This really is the best fire department in the world.
And take a listen as he talks about the devastation
here,
in Los Angeles.
Hospital kind of area here. Food is here. You've got the National Guard over there. These guys have got it all. Here. It took me up through. It looks like Hiroshima. It looks like Dresden. It's unbelievable. I mean, everybody thinks Malibu is heaven, but you have heaven and hell literally on the same street. Over here, there's nothing, and over here, it's just the chimneys are standing. Even a war zone, you see buildings and walls. Everything is gone. It's heartbreaking. But
wow, one can only imagine how devastating that is. But I really appreciate the work that Jay Leno is doing on behalf of those. Steve, don't bitch to us about your petty problems. Oh, poor Steve. He's got to change the way he's seeing us on YouTube. That's a YouTube problem. That's not a Greg Belfrage problem. I will attack things that I can control, things within my realm. I will fully take care of. Let's take a look at what's passing for news at Google News. Take a look at this. So some of these stories, strong winds weaken in Los Angeles, which is good news. So also a full transcript of President Biden's farewell address. Be hanging on every word versus Fox News. We're going to circle around to this here in just a few moments. Worst farewell speech in presidential history. Yeah. But get a load of this. Pete Hegseth confirmation hearings highlights Republicans' servility to Trump. Now that's an absolute laugh. The Republicans who are doing whatever Donald Trump was versus the Democrats. The Guardian never has. Now the Guardian is a left-wing piece of trash over in the UK. The Guardian never has any trouble at all with the Democrats and them when they're in lockstep. But now it's, look at the way that Republicans are falling in line to Donald Trump. Oh, you have got, this is why the only reason I use Google News, and I mean this very sincerely, the Google News is almost as funny as the Babylon Bee. I mean, seriously, I go through this thing. It's almost as funny to me as the Babylon Bee. But the Babylon Bee, the difference is the Babylon Bee is obvious satire. It's not true. It's meant to provoke a laugh. Google News is not meant to, but it's crazy. Also, they're about how a TikTok ban would work. And so a lot of attention on this. Again, now keep in mind TikTok. Are any of you on the TikTok app? I am not. I'm just curious. TikTok preparing to shut down in the U.S. on Sunday. Donald Trump is considering an executive order on Monday. It's when Donald Trump will be sworn in. Donald Trump considering an executive order that would delay the ban in the United States for, I think, like 60 or 90 days, something like that. They're considering it. while they continue to work through that issue. There was something else here, I thought here. I mean, again, it was, there was something, Doug Burgum. Where was that? The New York Times. As governor, Burgum promised to manage conflicts. They still cropped up. Yeah, that's pretty much life today. Hey, I know this is news to the New York Times. That's pretty much life in general, isn't it? That you try to manage conflicts. Isn't that life? Aren't we all trying to manage the conflicts in our life? I mean, this is just, it's absolutely incredible. So if you want a good laugh, Google News is pretty much the place to go, because you're not going to be finding news at Google News that, is, you're going to find biased left-wing headlines at Google News pretty consistently. That's what I find there. And I know, because I check almost daily. I go to Google News, I take a look. It's like, wow. Because I know what, real news is going on. And then I go to Google News and it's like, oh yeah, nothing has changed there. It's pretty crazy. Denise is saying of the president's farewell speech, could it even be understood? Yeah, some of us had a few problems, I think, understanding what he was talking about. In regard to TikTok, Steve said, the TikTok ban is something that I really have no opinion on. I don't have an account, don't plan on having it. It's full of flat earthers, though. So where will they go? Great question. And I'm not on it. And, as to what happens with it, Denise said, no to TikTok. I do YouTube, a little Facebook, and a little X. Denise, you sound like me. That's pretty much where I have been as well. All right. What else have I got for you today? I wanted to show you some of the comments about Joe Biden's farewell speech yesterday. The worst farewell speech in presidential history. I don't know who it is who said that. Let's find out. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, Joe Biden discussing democracy, a free press, institutions, and the abuse of power in his final farewell speech is rich, she says. I shared this comment with you on air this morning. Greg Gutfeld, what an embarrassing and pathetic end to an embarrassing and pathetic term. Clay Travis, Joe Biden can't even read. Every time he speaks, it gets worse. Trying to run him in 2024 is the most reckless and indefensible presidential decision in any of our lives, he said. And we'll likely hear more from Clay today during his program, Clay and Buck. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Yeah. Gabriella Hoffman. It was underwhelming and divisive, just like his term, just like his presidency. Underwhelming and divisive. That were two words that a good description of his Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. Joe Biden mentions climate hysteria ahead of actual priorities like border security, lowering costs, peace through strength. Yeah, and this just goes on. So a lot of reaction from folks. I got a good number of calls this morning during the show as folks were reacting to You're kidding me. Was it really? Steve said, I Googled what was the worst presidential farewell speech in history. Joe Biden was the top result. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Also this morning, remember Matt Taibbi? Remember the Twitter files? Matt Taibbi? He was on Fox News. Brian Kilmeade's program. And he was talking about the White House and Facebook and the government and Twitter. So because Taibbi knows what happened between the government and Twitter. The Twitter files were all about that, exposing a lot of that, what was going on, the government pressure on Twitter, which is now X. Elon Musk has picked it up in the meantime. So Taibbi is saying now, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook have been very much in the news this past week. He says he believes Zuckerberg is speaking out more now about this White House intimidation. He says he believes that Zuckerberg bringing that up has more to do with Donald Trump now being in power rather than suddenly a change of heart on Facebook's part when it comes to suppressing freedom of speech. And I would not doubt that for a moment. I would not doubt that for a minute. And I thought that was an insightful comment. Taibbi has had a lot of insights into these issues. So Taibbi talked about when he was given access to the Twitter files. Initially, he took a look at the Hunter Biden laptop story being suppressed. He was stunned to uncover there were thousands of communications between the FBI and Twitter. And he believes what happened with Facebook was even worse than what they found in the Twitter files. So you may want to take a listen. Again, this is the Brian Kilmeade Show. If that intrigues you, you can find more on his page at that's at radio.foxnews.com. Radio.foxnews.com, because Kilmeade's program is one of a number that Fox News Radio puts out there. Also this morning, this hit my funny bone. What the National Archives is doing. They are looking for volunteers who know how to read cursive because a lot of people don't know how to read cursive anymore. Do you? Do you use it? I do not write in cursive. I have not written in cursive since it was mandated by my teachers that I do so. And that's not a criticism of them. What is that? Get that out of here. I just don't use it. I don't write in it except my payroll signature. It's the only thing I write in cursive. Everything else I print. I've been doing that. Seriously, started doing that primarily in high school, but I just hate cursive. So they're looking for but I do know how to read it. I do know how to read cursive. But only 24 states still teach cursive writing. Is that how much do you use it? Seriously, those of you who are on this morning, do you, Denise says, I have a mix between cursive and printing. Yeah. Steve says his printing is atrocious. Better luck reading tea leaves. And Denise is saying her kids did not learn cursive. But yeah, I don't. It's Sean still writes in cursive. Kathy still writes in cursive always. Still gets compliments on my handwriting. If I were writing in cursive, believe me, nobody would be complimenting me on my. Mine is terrible. Sometimes I do my payroll signature, and which I do a lot. For instance, I'm signing station transmitter logs and a variety of different things, and my payroll, so on, and so I sign my payroll signature. And in some days is better than others. I find the smaller I write, the better it looks. It's like I will write, and it's like, oh, hey, that's not bad. But if I try to enlarge the letters so you could actually see them all, yeah, it's going to get. And I don't know why that is. If I'm just that uncoordinated, and then finally this morning, I've got to share this. This is from the Babylon Bee. And this customer is claiming, caused a stir over the weekend, when he refused to order food at the Cheesecake Factory unless he was provided a copy of the menu in its original King James version. He said, I prefer the original King James version for its poetic style and accuracy. I can't even tell what I'm ordering with this newfangled menu or whatever this is. There's a lot of great satire at the Babylon Bee. The Jonathan's not buying this. The smaller you write, the better it looks. Yes, it's true. Seriously, I can control the strokes more easily when they're smaller than when they're larger. As crazy as that sounds. So, but it's true. And Denise, I agree with you. I think it's beautiful. Cursive writing. I just hate it. Steve's talking about a good one from the Babylon Bee yesterday about paraplegic firefighters. Babylon Bee, I check on them pretty often. I'd probably 3 or 4 times a week that I check in to see what's going on at the Babylon Bee. I hope that would make you laugh. I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you so much for being here. Hit that like button before you leave. Tell a friend. That would be terrific if you let them know what we're doing each day. Thanks so much for being here. You take care. See you again tomorrow. And God bless you, my friend. So long until then.